February 15th, 2010. This is Diehard Gamer Radio, show 83.
You are approaching the target of attack. Your mission starts now. Are you ready? The countdown begins. 3, 2, 1, go!
You are listening to Diehard Gamer Radio, the source for off-mainstream video game news and topics. And now, your hosts, Murdock, Brian, John, and Steve.
Just a couple more shots.
Okay, well, we're back from our year-long vacation here.
We learned to play guitar in our rock and roll band, and we had some kids with the awesome, very hot princesses, and then we have to come back and save the world with our rock and roll.
Personally, I was hoping to stay in winter hibernation for another couple months.
Ah,
well, you could do that if you go back east.
Or he could do it here.
Well, I'm just saying they're getting a little more snow up there, so it's definitely easier to hibernate. You can't get out of your house.
I don't think that's called hibernation. It's called
Call it what you will.
claustrophobia.
Yeah.
Or cabin fever.
it's called a Mythbuster special. So with me is Brian, Steve, and John.
and a schedule that I suspect has larger fonts so that it looks like we have more to talk about.
Maybe.
Either that or we're just getting older.
Yeah, it's large.
Can't see!
So for all of you listening, it's in large print. Hey, wait, what? So.
Yeah.
Hey, and you bolded the headings, which is pretty awesome.
And put them in those square braces.
Yes.
It's a real step up. I feel like we're going pro.
Yeah.
No,
The square braces definitely say technological headline.
We're
Yeah.
definitely throwing it out there for all the scouts.
No,
watching.
no. If we were, high tech, we'd all be using iPads with the schedule.
I don't know. Most of the high-tech people don't seem to be too impressed with the
Yeah,
iPads.
I don't need a bigger iPhone.
I mean,
Yeah, it's not even an
well,
iPhone.
we'll be
larger iPod
we'll be
Touch.
getting to that here in just a
Oh.
sec.
You know, what I want to see, though, is the comparison between the iPad and the Newton. Because I bet the Newton's still got a couple of pluses on
Yeah.
inside.
Well, yeah, like running on a real operating system.
Pluses as in C++.
No, it used what the hell? Smalltalk? Is that what it used?
I don't remember.
I think it
It was
used
some weird,
Smalltalk. I think
though.
it was the
It was
first time they
crazy.
used Smalltalk. I'll have to look it up, but we don't do research here on the podcast, so
Yeah.
Although-
it'll be forever unknown, unfortunately.
Maybe that's what Apple created Dylan for. Because that was their Smalltalk variant they invented.
Yeah, could be.
Welcome to the Apple Podcast.
Not just any Apple podcast,
Hey-
obscure
Hey,
Apple
listen, we
podcasts.
can't help it that you are unable to rein us in on this podcast.
Next, we'll be talking about Linux. So, first up, Batman Arkham Asylum 2 coming out in October, which would interest probably Brian.
Oh, yeah.
And me. I mean,
Game was awesome.
that was an excellent game. There really wasn't anything wrong with it, which don't know what better praise you can give a game, really.
Yeah. It's
I-
everything you wanted and more. Definitely.
I have been told that I should play this game.
You really should, because it's a better
Everybody should play
Metroid
this
than
game.
Metroid.
No, it's not.
Hey, at the end
Or,
of this, at the end of this game, do you figure out that Batman's a chick?
No, it is missing that part, but it's like Metroid where the combat isn't dumb.
Oh.
This game is everything you would want a Batman game to be and more. They did a really good job with it. A lot of fun.
Well,
But this is only like a year after it came out, so that's not long.
That's more than a year.
No, it's about a year. Yeah.
Well, it come out in August of last year.
Yeah, a little
I
bit
was gonna
long.
say, yeah, I thought it was just end of the summer, so
Yeah.
a little over a year. But
Well,
yeah,
you
well,
know,
okay,
it
so
takes
it's
a
not
month and
the-
a half to do the marketing for it. You know.
Yeah,
But when you figure it usually takes, a good 2-3 years to make a AAA title, a year's a pretty tight crunch schedule.
well, if you already got a game that works really well, what do you really need to change with the engine itself? You just need to put put the character in a new environment, add a few new weapons, new toys.
Well, that makes me wonder, though. Is this just going to be a level pack on the first one?
So it's going to be Doom 2.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't mean level pack necessarily, but if it works, why screw it up? Which is where a
Well-
lot of games go wrong. The sequel is screwed up, or they take 2 or 3 years.
Just
which I'll
Batman
be-
fighting zombies in Africa.
You know,
I mean,
2 or 3
geez.
years is not bad. I mean, that's great.
Yeah, but
if-
even like Call of Duty, that's totally iterative. They still had a 2-year development cycle.
but
on
they
it.
rebuilt the
swapped
entire
studios.
engine, though, didn't they?
No,
I thought it was completely new.
not every time.
I thought the last one was, though. The newest one is on a new engine, isn't
Or
it?
Modern Warfare 2. But yeah, that's like the 6th, 7th game in the series.
Yeah. Well, they did variations of a lot of the same thing, though. With
Yeah,
their
but I'm
prior
saying
ones,
even
so-
there, I mean, they were pretty consistent on their theme. They're using a lot of the same art resources.
And they alternated
years between
studios to have
games.
a different studio do the one in the alternate years. That's why those alternate years weren't any good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's how they got their game a year schedule.
Yeah.
And
Well,
these guys
that's-
are just doing. I
Well, that's
didn't
also
hear
why
what-
why they came out every 2 years, because somebody else
Well,
did it and
but
fucked it up.
that's well, no. I mean, it was two different. It was two different. It was just 2 different studios working on 2 different products
Yeah.
that were pre-planned. I mean, that was the whole plan. It
Well,
wasn't a
what I'm
matter
saying
of
is
one
you
was
talk to
screwed
one
up.
studio or you talk to the other, and they don't acknowledge, I'm sure, the other games as much for one reason or another because
They
it
were
wasn't
even
their
sharing
studios.
resources.
Oh,
Yeah.
were they?
Yeah,
Okay.
they were even like, I mean, they were both making World War II games. So
Yeah.
All right, so
All right, who knows?
all right, so
I'm nervous about this one. 'cause the
I'm
schedule seems short.
gonna use my executive authority to rein the podcast back into number 2, which is Disgaea Infinite coming to the PSP, which seems kind of redundant as Disgaea is kind of an infinite game to begin with.
Well, except this is infinite minus all of the infinite parts of the standard Disgaea. Since
Really?
I think this is essentially a graphic adventure.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, you mean like
It's like the-
Metal Gear Solid, the comic book?
They're like a dating sim minus the dating parts, I think.
Huh.
But you know, the same kind of walk around static environments have heads pop up and say some things.
That is unfortunate.
I believe the infinite part comes in from time travel and going back and replaying the same areas, which seems like yet another excuse to reuse your few art assets.
Yeah, it's like Prince of Persia, the dating sim.
Yeah, by the way, the company that makes Disgaea also had a very huge loss last year. I think they lost like 85%. They were 85% down from last year.
It might have even been in the 90s.
Oh,
Yeah, their revenues tanked a bit.
A little bit.
Little bit.
yeah, a little.
Is
Little
that
bit.
the problem with making the same type of game and not expanding?
Well, I think they have
or
more than
putting
one.
Too many
they-
resources in one area.
Well, they might have more than one IP. I haven't checked yet.
Well, and I bet you the sales are much different in Japan than here.
Well, yeah, they just buy nothing but RPGs there.
Well,
Do you have to
yeah.
wonder if part of it is just that this year too was when the PS2 finally became irrelevant, maybe? Because I bet a lot of their stuff they were making was still PS2 based.
Could be.
Yeah. So next up,
You need-
Walmart.
You need lots of cell processor resources to make those dating sims.
Yeah, you do. So Walmart and Best Buy bail from video game trade-in market, which that didn't take long. now, did it?
Surprises nobody says.
Well,
Who
this
the
is
hell
actually
goes to
the,
Best Buy to trade in a game?
Yeah, this is actually the
Who
second.
goes to Best Buy to buy games?
This is actually the second time Best Buy bailed on that because they beta tested it over a year ago at a few stores and thought it was going to work, and then they stopped doing it and they built up and they waited and then they got all their stores to start doing it. And apparently,
Actually, if you buy PC games and you go to Best Buy, sometimes you get the pre-order boxes because they just put them on the shelf when they're done. So
Best Buy's a
Yeah.
great place to buy video games. I don't know where you go, but I mean, you go there and they actually have what you want to buy in stock.
yeah,
It's an amazing concept.
Well-
I've had very few bad experiences there.
not only that, but like a lot of times the prices are wrong on the games, and it's in your favor.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we didn't put a new sticker on it, but it's $15 less than the sticker price. Like, okay.
I'll take my Prison Tycoon for the Wii.
Yeah.
They also just, when they make a decision that's this game didn't sell enough this month, boom, pff, all the whole stock goes out on the floor at the discount price, and they're like, get the shit out of here. So,
Yeah.
it's always in your favor to keep looking for games there.
So next, Final Fantasy XIV coming out on PS3 and Xbox 360. My footnote is once again, why is Final Fantasy our only choice for a console MMORPG?
Good
I was
question.
I was pondering this. Who was I pondering this? Oh, I was pondering this with Roger and Emily yesterday, 2 days ago, and I came to the conclusion the reason is because the United States government is preventing them from doing it because if they put, say, WoW on the Xbox 360, too much of the workforce would drop out of society and the GDP would just flatten.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Next.
What's our GDP at now? 0?
Our what? Our GPA? Our GPA is like 3.5. We'll pull it up next semester.
Oh. So, yeah. By the way, since you've been playing Star Trek Online,
A little bit. I'm kind of going to take a hiatus from it because a lot of the stuff after Lieutenant Commander, the missions are bugged.
so since you've been playing it, my question is, do you think it would work on a console, though?
Not really. The main problem with MMOs is unless you actually give yourself, a goddamn keyboard,
Uh-huh.
you're totally useless because your quick bars are 10 long by 4 high, and you can't
You
really
gotta have
replicate that
hotkeys.
easy. And you have to be able to use 2 hands to do it.
Yeah.
Like when you're playing on Star Trek Online, you have to be able to cross your hand over when you're playing to actually hit the shield buttons to reinforce shields on various quadrants. If you can't do that. There's just not enough control. Now if they
I don't
I
know
do it
though,
with the
because
mouse.
I mean I think you can get pretty far using things like radial menus. There's not a lot of games that have, but you could
Well.
fit a lot of options on a fairly
But how? I mean,
On fairly
I
few
think it would
buttons.
be hard to do that only because you'd have to learn all these different patterns to get to
I think it would
each
be
of your
easier to
buttons.
just sell keyboards for the consoles, and then it would.
Well,
Yeah,
I
in the
mean,
end.
USB, both PS3
yeah, and that's how's that
Xbox
working
360.
out now?
Well,
Yeah,
There's like 2 keyboards out there you can use on the PS3.
yeah. If you really want to play
If that.
Final Fantasy, Final
Yeah,
Fantasy 11. So how do I do this? Press X. I have a keyboard. Oh,
well, there is an X key on there.
yeah, not really the same function.
Yeah, I
But I
saw
mean,
this commercial for
they
Final
could
Fantasy
actually-
14, and I was really excited, and I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Uh,
I can't be fooled because it's just another Final Fantasy
Yes.
all over again.
MMO.
It's not
It's-
that
yeah.
different.
You might be
I've
able to
played
kill a
this
level
game.
1 creature, though. It might be rebalanced.
No,
No.
no,
Don't
So it
be
might be
fooled.
unbalanced.
no.
Yeah.
You don't get money from balanced.
You know what
MMOs.
Final Fantasy is? It's like the Madden of Japan. All they do is just improve the graphics every year and tweak the story just a little bit.
No,
but you're
no,
really
Madden-
playing the same thing.
Madden-
They don't actually tweak the story each time.
Well, not each time, yeah.
No, Madden
like
comes
every
in while
4th
you're
or 5th year.
Madden comes in while you're playing Final Fantasy and starts drawing circles.
Yeah,
and
it's like
You
this
see
guy's
what you
gonna
gotta do here?
What this guy's gonna do is
Now
he's
what-
gonna
now
cast
what-
a spell over here. Now let me tell you why he didn't cast a spell.
Now what? Now the Chocobo should have really sacked the
You know who had a really great Final Fantasy team? Brett Favre.
Wouldn't be a bad crossover, really. They did,
It's
inject
Final
a
Fan-
much-needed mature perspective into the
You know, I
series.
never thought that I would miss John Madden doing color commentary, but the guys they got doing now for this last season that just ended are really boring.
Yeah. He was great because you just waited to hear him state the obvious.
Yeah,
We see the only way you score is if you cross the line. And once you cross the line, you scored. And it's like, yeah, okay.
As
But
far
he
as,
did.
as far as I can tell, they just need to have Bob Costas announce everything on all of sports. Then
Well,
we'll be
he-
okay.
he's a little busy with the Olympics right now. You're
And
gonna be
even
sick
then,
about
they
that,
put-
guys, man.
They put other people on from time to time. It's just a bad idea.
No, they
Yeah.
just get guest color commentators. You get Bill Cosby or someone like
Yeah, but Dennis Miller, before he kind of lost his mind, was the most hilarious thing that's ever happened to Monday Night Football, and he lasted a season because nobody understood what he was saying.
There were so many oddball references in there that
was
so few
awesome.
people would get. But yeah, he was great. He had a certain comedy to it
It's
that
like,
nobody else
we
could.
can't make football smart.
Yep.
Yeah.
So next up, Sonic the Hedgehog 4 announced. Furries rejoice. So it's going to be
Or
2D.
fuzzies.
Well, it's going to be 2D. It's not supposed to have any of the other crap characters, including Tails. And from what we've seen so far, no swords, no turning into werewolves, no
No
BS.
guns?
It's no guns. It's supposed to be.
Is it really 2D or is it fake 2D?
It is 2D, but it doesn't look
Polygons.
sprite based.
2D
Yes,
or not 2D.
So it's really not 2D. It's
Well, it's on a
3D in a
2D
plane.
plane.
It's 3D, and you only ever see one side of the polygons.
Well,
Episodic.
yes.
Was it
that's-
like downloadable content every 2
Yeah,
months?
there's going to be like episode 1, episode 2. So imagine like you played Sonic the Hedgehog and you got the first 2 zones, and then you have to download the next 2
It's
zones.
starting to come out like the penny arcade games.
Well,
I bet this is going to come out and it's going to be just like playing Sonic the Hedgehog, the original, and that's really not going to be worth our time in this decade.
so
Yeah.
Too little, too late.
well,
We'll have to wait and see. But I loved Sonic as much as anybody back in the day. But
and technically this would
Not
be
super
Sonic the
excited.
Hedgehog. This would be Sonic the Hedgehog 5. Because Sonic and Knuckles would be 4, wouldn't it?
huh.
I don't think they have to put a number on the end that corresponds to the number of games they've made.
Well, then if that were the case, this would be Sonic the Hedgehog 32.
Yeah, you count the Game Gear games.
Yeah. So I mean, we're playing what, Street Fighter 250 right now?
Well, or expansion number 35.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just plus, 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 plus.
That's
plus,
hash marks
plus.
after it.
Yeah. So Fallout New Vegas set for fall release, which interests me. I don't know if it would interest anyone else.
I just
though.
installed it, so I'm gonna
No,
play
wait,
it
wait, no.
soon.
Wait, New Vegas?
Oh no, New
No,
Vegas. I mean the original Fallout 3. I
Oh,
just
I
got
was
it
like,
finally
wait a minute,
installed,
what?
and after putting Windows 7
He's
on.
from the future.
Yeah, that's old Vegas for me.
Is this just a standard episode expansion? Or...
No,
Nope,
it's
whole
a
new game. It's
Oh,
even
yeah.
being done by a different team. So I don't know if that is a good thing or a bad thing,
I
because
don't know.
Fallout 3 wasn't perfect. So there's room
Yeah.
for them to do interesting new things.
Yeah, but I don't know if they. I mean, you'd kind of have to. The world would have to be a lot bigger for it to really do what I think it probably was capable of doing.
I don't know. Fallout 3 was pretty big.
Not really. The world wasn't very big.
It was
Go
full
play
of
Oblivion.
stuff.
Go play Oblivion
Well,
and
it
tell
was
me
big
how big
for a
the game was.
console.
I don't know. I think Fallout 3 seemed bigger to me than Oblivion did.
Eh,
I mean, there was more running around in Oblivion, but there was less stuff in the world.
it's true. Then you could just put more stuff in it.
Mm.
Uh,
So, but yeah, from the 3-second video that I saw, well, it was longer than that, but there was only really 3 seconds of relevant footage. But basically, you're on the outskirts of Las Vegas or New Vegas, and they haven't given out too much of the story or
Nude
anything.
Vegas.
Yeah.
which is at least a return to Wasteland in some ways, so that's
Indeed.
promising right there.
Well, I don't know. Just throwing it in to make you think it's promising.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Cheap to put in that name.
That's kind of like the Resident Evil last movie that came out.
As long as they keep biting but a million, I'm on.
Yeah. Speaking of which, how's that Fallout MMO coming along?
Yeah.
There was a small fallout.
So, Xbox Live being discontinued for original Xbox consoles and games.
It's still
So-
going?
Well,
Yeah.
I think this is actually going to be a little bit of a bummer, I think, because there was some downloadable content on the original Xbox, so there's at least some chunks of games that are going to disappear.
I've got a game on there. In fact, we both got that game. I think that was the sequel to Steel Battalion that you can only
well,
play
the servers for
online.
that have been down for a while, but you
Yeah.
can still play local. System Link works.
Oh, cool. Okay. That's not the end then.
So,
Until your Xbox breaks.
Well,
Then you
it
just
is
go
a-
on Craigslist and look for another brick.
so time to let all those Halo 2 players know that there are 2 sequels to the game that's come out. So,
Even so, it's still sad that there's going to be some parts of old games that are just going to disappear.
And thus the problem
Yeah.
with digital distribution.
Yep.
but will anyone care?
I don't know.
Well, a lot of it's been moved to the 360 too, though. So,
I don't know what you mean by move, though.
well, I mean, you can play a lot of games on there now.
You can play the games, but you still won't be able to access that additional live
Oh,
content.
Well, and there's the issue of what you've done in the games too, because I don't think that transfers. So, the
Oh.
accomplishments and whatnot.
Well, there weren't any in the original, so.
Well, no, I mean, but things you've done in the games themselves. Once you move it to the new console, it doesn't save all the stuff that you've already completed. And
So, if you're still playing the original Ninja Gaiden,
Or if you
download those
were the-
Hurricane packs now.
if you were on the last few
Yeah.
things you needed for Burnout 3.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can't download
Was
any
there
of
any
that crap
DLC
anymore.
for Burnout 3?
I didn't think there was.
Not
don't
on
think
the
so either.
original Xbox.
Ninja
no.
Gaiden's a good example though, because there was another half that game they
Yeah,
added
there was
on
2
afterwards.
Hurricane packs. They
Well,
released
I
a lot
thought
of
that's
stuff.
what the black version was. Wasn't that with
I-
everything added?
Yes, that
Believe
was
so.
basically all the DLC on a disc.
That's why I bought it. Was supposed to be the
Yeah.
complete package?
But I won't be able to play Burnout 3 online anymore. Could you
Nope.
play it online?
I don't think you could anyway, because that
No.
was run through EA's servers, and those haven't been working for a while now. I don't think.
Well, EA.
You could originally.
Well,
EA,
you could, yeah, but I don't. Yeah, but they never. That was before Xbox or Microsoft and EA got together and kissed and made up and started
Yeah.
using
And EA screwed everything up for that bit where you had to have your own separate account over on their side.
Yeah, it was a pain in the ass.
They do the same shit on PC too. It just pisses me off.
So, but EA just decided to bring down like a ton of servers like over the last couple of weeks. So there were a couple achievement hordes there like, yeah, we need to get 1,000 people on this because otherwise this achievement will disappear forever because it's online only.
Oh.
It's
I
like-
hate those online.
Yeah, there's
onlys.
like some
That's
there's like an
stupid.
NBA game where you have to get like 100 people in a lobby or something. It's like 100 or 1,000 people in a lobby to unlock it. But since they
Ugh.
brought down all those servers,
Somebody
can't
was really
unlock that
banking on the
achievement now.
popularity of their game.
I guess.
Okay.
So next up, Blaster Master Overdrive announced, which surprised me because the game basically came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
announced like the Saturday before it was released. It's like, really?
Advertise much?
And I'm like,
It wasn't even advertised. It's like, oh wait, there's a Blaster Master.
Well,
Market
they
what?
They market well, and then they market games that are way less nostalgic than this, and then working them out the wazoo, and then, oh yeah, here you go,
Yeah.
Last Master.
So
This is
I didn't even
sentence.
hear this was coming out or know there was an original.
That's an NES.
Yeah.
Yeah, where have
that
you
would
been?
explain it because
Yeah.
I never played Nintendo as a kid. So
Uh,
You were a Genesis. You were
It was- it was
a
Genesis
Genesis
kid.
kid.
It was a major release for the NES.
Well, come on, Genesis does what Nintendo don't.
It was back when it was back when Nintendo Power would devote the whole issue to one game,
nah.
and you got the big
They,
fold-out
they
maps.
kind of still do that.
Well, I haven't looked at Nintendo Power in about 20 years, so maybe I don't
hasn't
belong
re-
on this podcast. I don't know.
It hasn't really changed. They don't run Nestor and
Well, it's
Power
not really
Relays.
Nintendo Power then, is it?
So anyway, I love the original game, but there was a Blaster Master that came out on the Genesis, Blaster Master 2. And it
Okay.
sucks.
Alrighty.
All right. So, Ubisoft announces Ghost Recon Future Soldier, which interests no one.
It might interest me. We'll see if it's on PC also.
Have you
So
played?
is this an Advanced Warfighter sequel?
I don't know. That would
Okay.
require research. We don't
Probably
do
would-
that here.
I think that would have been in the title. I think
I
Advanced Warfighter
actually,
was
I
its
think,
own.
I think because it's Ubisoft, I think it's part of the Assassin's Creed.
Well, I mean, it's Ghost Recon, so isn't it just part of the Ghost Recon?
Yeah, Ghost
franchise.
Recon is an over thing like Rainbow Six was all those years.
Is that another Tom Clancy thing?
Yeah, Rainbow Six was the original PC series that came out back in the
Yeah.
mid '90s.
The Advanced Warfighter ones were definitely their own separate chain
Yeah.
and different.
It was a whole
Well, I
different
mean, they were
HUD.
third-person shooters, really. So
That was a weird thing about it. I loved the Rainbow Six for the first-person shooters and for the tactical squad. You get 4 guys together and play those in a group, and that was just those are
haven't
great
played
games.
haven't played any of the Tom Clancy
No,
games.
but they were never as good as Full Spectrum Warrior. None of them were as good as Full
I
Spectrum
never
Warrior.
did play Full Spectrum.
Full Spectrum Warrior
it's
is
really a good
great.
game. You
Oh.
don't get any direct control over anybody, and it makes it better.
Yeah,
Well, that was a nice thing too in Rainbow Six. You didn't have to control your guys, but you had the option if you wanted somebody
Well-
to go somewhere specifically at a certain time, you could set it that way. And
E-
then,
even in Full Spectrum Warrior, you don't have. There's no you. You are the squad, and so you kind of set up how they're going to do stuff and everything, and they act out your orders, and
well,
if you have to go to orders, then
that
they blow it
stands
up.
in Rainbow, or well, most of the Rainbow Six that stood the same way too. They would just follow you and do what you did and help back you up. But
Well,
you
that's
could-
what I'm saying. There's no you. You don't have. There's no you character in.
Well, no,
in
that's what I'm saying.
Full
In Rainbow
Spectrum
Six, you didn't have to control them. You could leave them, and they would follow you. So they just did whatever you
Well,
did.
but you still
didn't have
had
to
an
worry about it.
avatar.
Yeah, you
You
still
were
have
still
an
a
avatar.
person who was
There's-
walking
Oh,
around.
There's
yeah,
no
yeah. In
you
that sense, of
in
the
that-
yeah,
in
you
Full
showed up
Spectrum Warrior.
individually. Okay.
You're just
I see what
like
you're saying.
you're like this mystery spirit that's telling your guys what to do, and they go and do it. And if you told them good orders, they accomplished it. If you give them shitty orders, they all die.
You are the manual.
Yep.
Do you ever play Tin Hammers?
I started to. I think. I don't think I recall it being as good as the first one,
Bummer.
but I can't say that for sure because I don't have nearly as a vivid recollection of the sequel as I did of the first one. Spent a lot of time with the first one.
It was a good game. I think that was another one with DLC too, because that had, I think, the pack that you could download that put you through the airport at the end. I don't remember if you downloaded that or if you just unlocked that when you beat the first part.
I don't remember.
I think
Anyway.
got some Stalker in though. Stalker is a lot of fun. The game's actually pretty well made for a small group of Russian kids.
Well, what else are they going to do?
Hmm.
I mean, So, Xseed is going to be publishing Samurai Showdown Sen, which is awesome for
Hell yeah.
Brian.
You knew
And
Is this
somebody
the
was
one that
gonna
you were
bring it
saying
out of
wasn't
here.
going to come out last time?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, now
We knew
another
somebody was
developer
gonna
decided
step
to
up.
pick it up.
Yeah, somebody was going to step up and pick it up.
See, we do a little research here.
No, you make false predictions. Is what that's called.
No,
that's
it
not
wasn't-
research.
I stole that article fair and square from Kotaku.
Uh-huh.
It was relevant at the time that I stole it.
Fairly certain there's not a Creative Commons license at the bottom of Kotaku.
Everyone does it. Come on.
At least he gave credit.
So, are you still planning on picking up the game?
Oh yeah.
So
Until I hear differently or see video that tells me different, it's still.
I saw
I'm
the
still
video. It
Curious.
didn't look bad.
And they have
the
a lot
character
of time to
models
tweak it.
didn't look detailed, but it's kind of typical from SNK. So
You don't have to do a lot with SNK to make it fun. I mean, the think of the original side scrolling.
yeah, I'm hoping that Akari Warriors comes out real soon on Xbox Live. So StarCraft II closed beta to begin this month, which
It's about damn time. Jesus.
Apparently,
So that
interest
means we
Brian.
only got another 2 years till they release.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably something like that.
No, that's the first part where you play as the human soldiers.
Yeah, maybe it'll be like
Before, and then you get the
StarCraft.
Zerg 2 years after, and
It'll be like StarCraft Ghost.
Protoss. Ugh.
It'll just disappear. Next E3, there'll be no mention of it at all.
Oh boy, that thing went through like 3 iterations before they finally cut the plug.
They didn't even cut the plug. It phased into a different dimension, and just nobody talks about it. We don't talk about that.
so what
The
you're
last thing I saw for it was pretty entertaining, though, where they could use the StarCraft II level editor to make StarCraft Ghost. Apparently flexible enough to make a third-person shooter, and that's as close as we're going to get.
There you go. People have at it.
So what Steve is saying that Blizzard is going to go ahead and announce that all the games that everyone wants is not coming out.
No.
It'll just disappear off.
It'll
the
just
face.
they just won't talk about it anymore. It'll be like, didn't there used to be a game called StarCraft II?
Hey, we don't talk about that.
Yeah.
No, there's a goon. There's a goon there
Yeah,
at
that's-
the Blizzard booth, and he just comes up behind you and like.
Yeah. Gets you with
Hey,
a piano
buddy.
wire.
Over here.
Hey,
I guess this means it's probably going to come out before Diablo does, though.
I would assume so. It was
No.
announced before Diablo.
no,
So.
Lost Vikings 3 will be out before Diablo 3.
Hmm.
So, do you care about StarCraft 2?
Apparently Brian does.
Do you?
I've always
John?
enjoyed it.
It'll probably be on the PC, so no.
Okay.
Hmm.
And Steve?
StarCraft was always like chess to me. It's like if you knew the right combination, you could win if you did it before the other person.
Well, they might have changed it. I mean,
I
it could
kind of
be-
doubt it.
Clicking faster than the other person helped too.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
the key to
It could
StarCraft
be like Star
was,
Trek chess now.
The key to StarCraft was not clicking as much as it was knowing the hotkeys, because that beat the click every time.
If they made it any different, then nobody in Korea would be buying StarCraft, and
Yeah.
that's their main people playing StarCraft to this day. So
It's just
You know,
going to be a
people
reiteration.
talk about polishing their first 90 seconds to
Yeah.
eke out a little bit of an advantage. Yeah.
It's just going to be a reiteration or remake of the original, but with new units, new graphics, and that's I'm happy with that because I enjoyed the RTS side of it. I mean that's what it was there for, and that's why I played the game a lot. So
So next, news item number 12, Cave making another Xbox 360 game that isn't an arcade port.
Dun, dun, dun.
So an original IP.
Yeah, but what you want to bet after it comes out on the 360, they port it to the arcade.
Yeah.
Aha.
Checkmate. Touche.
So finally, a Natal version of Prince's debut. Only 2 people will get that
A
joke.
Princess Maker?
No.
Oh. They
It's-
should make a
it's-
Natal version of Princess Maker.
No, they shouldn't.
You don't need to see the hump action.
That was really I really enjoyed making the princesses into barmaids and prostitutes in that game. It's like, oh, that was pretty cool. That was pretty funny.
So do you still play this game, Steve?
No, I got a copy of it like 4 years ago. I'm like, what the fuck's this game? And you're like, oh, it's pretty fucking cool. She can go and she can kill monsters, and then she goes and she makes me some money.
That's excellent.
Yeah,
I need to play this game. I've never played
lasted
it.
like 2 or 3 days. I'm sure there's like 2 new versions since I played it.
It's like
Oh.
pimping a dragon slayer.
Kind of.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting. And I did send you that news on Escaluda 2.
Yeah.
So I don't
I'm
know what.
still gonna hang on to that because that's such a limited print for that. There's probably not gonna be another one, or if there is, it's gonna be a short print also. So maybe worth just hanging on to for the value of it.
I don't know, because the Death Smiles limited edition keeps getting reprinted every once in a while. So I don't
Not
see
that
it.
limited, huh?
No, and it is coming out in this country, by the way.
I don't think I've seen Galuda go through that many reprints though. That's not.
You mean the first one?
Yeah.
No, it's the first one on PlayStation. PS2's out of print, I believe.
Exactly.
Of course, I could research that, but I won't.
Pshaw.
Normal terms and conditions apply.
Read the fine print.
And one of these days, this podcast will be really cool.
It would,
Yeah,
it'd be
just
really
sucks
cool
right now,
if
apparently.
anybody advertised this podcast.
Yeah, we should get on that.
Yeah.
Don't we have a PR guy? Call Robert Koo on the phone.
Yeah, get cool on.
Yeah, we haven't sold our podcast 3 or 4 times to different companies.
Yeah.
We're stable. We have more episodes than
We're
the
not
Maxim podcast.
We're not EGM.
You watch the Penny Arcade TV thing of their ping pong tournament with Bungie. It's hilarious.
I haven't seen it yet.
Hilarious.
By the way, did you ever get your DVDs for PAX ever straightened out?
No, I think that the whole first print run had those 2 tracks that were bad
Oh.
because
Oh.
the replacement had the exact same problems in the exact same places.
Ah.
So,
On every player?
yeah.
Damn,
yeah.
Wow.
that blows. Is
That's
there
all
a
right.
thread about it?
I don't know. I didn't look.
You'd
But
think the forums would have
you
a
would-
complaint about that.
I would think so too.
Apparently,
Well,
that's
but,
why
you
they
know,
were
it's-
so quick to
it's
send
one-
off that next
It's
copy.
it's about 3 minutes at the end of at the second to last chapter of one of the lectures, and then it's one song from Jonathan Colton on a totally different disc, and you're like, okay, you know what? I don't need to hear that whole thing over again. You know?
You know what I wonder is if there isn't a forum thread for it, if that means you were the only person who
Yeah,
ever actually watched the discs.
Yeah, maybe, perhaps.
So
So I
what do you-
didn't. I'm like, it's kind of a bummer, but I just can't get myself that worked up over it. So.
What are you going to do with the second disc?
Give it to my brother probably, or somebody.
Does he have any interest in Penny Arcade?
Well, he plays more video games than I do.
Well, that doesn't mean he has interest in Penny Arcade.
Well, it means he should.
Might go to PAX before he does.
It's like being a Christian and having no interest in the Bible. Oh wait, no, that's evangelicals.
So
Shazbot.
Zing!
last, we have Street Fighter 4 announced for the iPhone.
It'll be great, I'm sure. Perfect.
it'll be
No problems.
You're just as good as Galaga for
How
that.
can they go wrong?
Destined for
Well,
success.
let's see. Do you want a list, Brian? If your thumb
Oh,
is very
God.
large, you might have issues.
Damn it.
No, you just need to do it on the iPad.
We're getting to that.
I need the Minority Report version where I can just move my hands in the air. Like, can we plug Natal into
And
it?
then every time you win a match, a little wooden ball goes down that ramp. What was
Gorilla
up with
arms.
that?
You need the
Gorilla
red
arms.
ball.
Oh,
Oh, somebody's going to die today.
yeah. So next up, care or don't care. Our first thing is the iPad. I'm pretty sure we don't care about this thing.
Not many. I was actually
I don't think
surprised when
so.
I saw the announcement for it. Like, wow, I really don't think this is any good, but I won't be surprised if people go crazy for it. And it's been a lot of really not that great press for the iPad, which is,
It's amazing.
unusual.
It's amazing how much farther it would have gone with a camera built into it.
Well,
Such
not
a
even-
I
simple
don't think
little
the
thing.
camera bit is.
No.
Well, no, like 4 out of 5 guys we were talking to in the beginning said, you know what, if they just put a
Why
video
would-
camera
why would
or
they-
something
Why
in
would you
here.
even care?
I don't care, but I'm just
but I mean,
saying.
what
that
would-
these guys were saying, with the things it has now, it's really not anything. It's nothing to make me want to buy it. But if they could have put, 1 or 2 more little things into it, it would have made a huge difference for
well,
it.
if they had made it,
USB port.
well, if they had made it
Wow.
just frickin' run OS 10 instead of the iPod and iPhone OS, then they would have been, a ton ahead of there. But
Well, that would make sense to me because the thing that the iPad explains to me is why Apple hasn't released a netbook.
yeah,
Is because they wanted to fill this niche this way. And I think you really have to be solidly in the RDF for this to seem like it fills a niche.
yeah,
Because, like,
it
wow,
really is. It's a product looking for a problem.
I can pay twice as much for a crippled product.
Yeah,
Sweet.
yeah.
And it doesn't seem like it is a niche.
Well, it isn't. It doesn't fit in anything.
They tried to create something that it
Yeah.
just doesn't fit in any way, shape, or form, and it's just lacking in the few things that might have made it get by in some arena, whether it be a Wacom or
Well, they could have made it a lot better had they, made it about $1,200 instead of about $400. But then it would have been competing with all the other slates.
yeah, but then
so-
it would have some place to fit.
Well,
I
it
think
would,
They
and
tried
that's
to
what
make
I'm
it
saying.
Yeah,
That's
they
what I'm
tried
saying
to make
is-
it so unique and so different that it doesn't fit in at all anywhere
Well,
for anything.
It's different in a dumb way, is what they made it.
Well, I guess we just don't think different enough.
Apparently not.
So, but since we are a video game podcast, I'm assuming that even though we don't care about the iPad, do you think idiots are going to buy it? And
Well, yeah. The only reason they haven't yet is because it's not out till March.
well, I'm sure there's some guy out there that's sitting outside an Apple store
Did you read-
waiting until March.
Did you read the thing about from the live blog? I think it was from ours about it, and he's like, "This is really surreal. We're watching Steve Jobs sitting on stage with an iPod, going through his spreadsheets and stuff." I'm like, okay, first of all, why would you be even using it? This is not a product that they made a big thing about. iWork is available for the iPad. Okay, why would you want to have that on the iPad?
That's the perfect device for lots of data entry.
Yes.
Awesome.
Sounds like a last-ditch effort
Ugh.
to help it along because they know it's just not going to succeed.
And I'm sure there's no fan or any type of cooling system in it because how
Oh,
much Steve
yeah,
Jobs
Steve
hate
Jobs
that.
can't use a fan. He must be like Puff Daddy. Where he doesn't.
What?
I read this weird article where Puff Daddy made an explicit thing in an interview that he doesn't use towels when he gets out of the shower.
Wait.
He lets himself air dry so he doesn't get lint all over him. I'm like, that is really like that's.
I'm having,
Yeah.
I'm having flashbacks of Dune where Sting is standing there in the air shower.
Yeah.
How did that even come up in
I
the interview,
don't
though?
know. That's bizarre. It's
Okay,
like-
we need to move on to a new news item.
No, the
Hopefully
Apple
it'll help
doesn't-
get that image out of my head.
They don't use fans because they make the entire unit its own heat sink.
Yeah, it is
It just
too.
sucks air right. Yeah,
God,
sucks
it's-
heat
No,
right
they
out
don't
of it.
use fans because otherwise the iPad would levitate.
Yeah, my MacBook Pro is like so freaking.
It's so
hot.
hot. Yeah.
It's not even funny.
Well, you start playing with that, you get 0-point energy out of your iPad, and
Create small black holes.
maybe that's what powers the RDF.
Higgs bosons.
And, yeah. Did you see XKCD today?
No, I haven't yet.
Yeah. So we don't care about the iPad or otherwise known as the iPod Touch XL.
Yes.
This is like the DSi LL, right?
it is. But even the DS has a SD card slot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
So they're
there
one
you go.
step
It's
ahead of
already better
Apple.
than the iPad.
Well, if you want, you can get like an SD card reader for the damn thing. It's just that it only has one expansion port that has to do everything.
Yeah.
So, you know.
So,
Jeez.
People are like, I can broadcast, video to my TV. Oh, good. Well, enjoy that 15 minutes of battery power.
yeah. So, care or don't care, Bioshock 2.
That looks pretty cool.
Did you play the first one?
I bought it and installed it, but I haven't. I played about an hour of it on the 360 when it came out, but I never got around to finishing it, so I gave it back to who I borrowed it from, and then I got it on sale right before Christmas off of Steam for like $4.99. So
Oh, okay.
I do have it on there. I just got to go back through and finish it again, or go through it for the first time.
It
Taste
is
it
such
again
an
for the first time.
unnecessary sequel.
Really?
There's just like no place in that story that needed or wanted or could have used any continuation.
The story of their balance sheet required a sequel.
I don't.
Suppose so.
I don't know if it's even as much about the story as it is just giving you the opportunity to play as a Big Daddy instead. It's like they've just flipped the
That
whole
also
thing
happened
around.
at the end of Bioshock.
No, did it?
Yeah.
Well, maybe they liked it so much they
I
just
mean,
wanted more of it.
I'm sure they extended it out, but it's like nothing in Bioshock needed a sequel.
Did you, and I'm assuming you have played through all of Bioshock?
Yipper.
Did you enjoy Bioshock,
It
though?
was a good game.
Huh. Would
It
I
was-
like it?
As the best part about it is they
Well-
nailed the atmosphere. I think the story had a few issues. The shooter part was average, but the atmosphere was just bar none excellent.
Well, you can get the game used for about $1.50 now, so
Yeah.
you give
It's
it a try.
definitely under the $20 mark new.
Yeah.
So
But then I'd be playing an FPS on a Xbox 360.
Oh no, you could play it on PC too.
Well, you have to have something to complain about now that you have an avatar.
Eh. Don't remind me.
I will at every opportunity.
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 and every
officer.
ops opportunity too.
All right. The Last Guardian.
do they actually have a release date?
Sometime between now and 2012 when the world ends.
Okay, then let's hope they make that.
I have faith.
Yeah, but do you care about it, though?
Eco was
No.
a lot of fun.
I
I
totally
haven't-
care. Love those games. Can't talk about Shadow of the Colossus enough.
I will play it one of these days too. I gotta open it, but I will play it.
All right.
All right.
But I don't own a PS3, so that kind of is a problem.
But
The
here's the
PS3
thing.
is down to like $200, and everybody's gonna buy it.
So, but here's the thing: when Last Guardian comes out,
By the time it comes
are
out,
you
yeah.
planning on buying it? Because I know that you may.
Well, if it's in 2012, maybe the PS3 will have hit $100.
I don't think so. This is Sony we're talking about.
The hubris that's installed on the PS3 is worth more than $100.
But is it worth you buying the system to play that game?
I'll probably buy a PS3 when it hits $100, and it'll probably be at the end of the PS3 life cycle, and I'll probably go and pick up all the stuff I missed.
And by that
That's-
time, a lot of those games will be really cheap too. Like
Pretty much.
10
But
bucks
like I
a
said, the
pop.
PS3 is totally going to be the GameCube for me this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So next up, do we care about Fallout New Vegas? Even though we did
We
talk
just
about it. a
talked
little.
about it.
Yeah.
Obviously, we care, so moving on.
Mass Effect 2.
Yeah, I gotta finish that first one also. I really wanted to play this, I just never made the time. So that was another $4.99 purchase around Christmas.
Meredith actually played all the way through Mass Effect, and I enjoyed watching her play through it. And the strange thing about Mass Effect 2, that fact that it has the character importer, is what's making me want to play through Mass Effect before I play through Mass Effect 2
Yeah.
now. Even though I know what happens through the game, and it's not a surprise, it's like I want to have my own character, my own
I
choices.
wonder if
to
that's going to
import.
be the same effect on the PC side too, because
Apparently not.
I waited on the PC one, and the PC one that came out was actually enhanced. They tweaked a few things on it, and it actually looks better than it does on the 360. So
Wasn't
No
that the
save
thing
game
with
import?
Tycho?
No, he was saying it was because he played it on the 360. Or
I-
it was one way or the other. He played it on one platform and he bought the second one on the other platform.
Yeah,
so he
that would
couldn't
make
get
sense.
his save file from one to the other.
probably played it on PC.
Well,
it
and
was-
the thing was, the big thing with that was that then they were told, well, you get to make a bunch of choices at the beginning that'll let you
Yeah.
customize a character. Turns out that's not the case. You have to use the default character in 2 if you did not import something from 1.
Yep. Although I'd imagine once the PC version of Mass Effect 2 comes out, there's probably just a slew of save files you can grab
Probably.
from other people's that do in fact have all the
It'll
different
probably
choice
just find it for
variations.
you and import it over. And You're good to go from the start.
And the war garble about that game was just incredible.
Really?
Yeah. All sorts of people bitching about stuff. Like, really?
So what else is new?
Seriously?
It
That's what
sounds
you're
like one
complaining
of.
about.
I'm pretty excited about this one though, because it sounds like all the annoying complaining is they made the game simpler and more streamlined.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
that sounds like a good thing.
Oh, what?
Is
No
this kind of
complication?
akin
Damn.
to a Devil May Cry argument where, oh no, they made an easier version?
Well, it's like they stripped out all the role-playing mechanics that weren't very good in the first one. It's like, good choice.
This is all the game we wanted the first one to be, but it wasn't quite. So, it's just like most fighting games. The second one is always the best because the first one was pretty much the beta test, and they found what worked. And your sequel is definitely your perfected version generally.
So, Steve,
Yeah, what?
Star Trek Pontification.
I'm kind of putting myself on hiatus because of all the bugged missions after Lieutenant Commander.
I'm level 8
Oh, well.
so far, so
Apparently,
I'm
you get to
almost
get up
there.
what, another 7 levels?
No, I think
6
it's
levels.
Well,
3
it's-
for lieutenant.
It's
11
level 8,
for-
another 3, so 11 is when you get to Lieutenant Commander. And then you get your first new ship. Interestingly enough, they did some interesting things with the ship types where the cruiser is not the heavy hitter. The escorts actually do a lot
yeah,
more.
my next
damage
pick was going to
per
be
second.
the escort.
Well, I mean, you're an escort now. That's the ship that you start with is an escort. So you basically get the next step up, which kind of sort of looks like a Defiant. And when you get up to Commander, you can actually get one of the Defiant types. But they kind of do as interesting things with the character classes in terms of the ships. The ships have different roles. They're not strictly healer or tank.
Between science, escort, and then regular galaxy class. And,
Although the escorts are pretty easy to pop if you don't know what you're doing. So,
yeah,
Hmm.
I found that out a few times.
other than that,
Respawn.
it's kind of buggy. It's not bad.
They've been patching that thing left and right.
Yeah, I
I mean,
know.
right in the middle of a
Well-
Friday night while I'm getting on. Oh God, I haven't played all week. Finally get on.
Well, you know why
Boom.
that
I
was
was like,
last weekend? It was because it crashed.
Yeah.
It crashed, and they're like, "Well, we were gonna do a patch tomorrow night, but we'll just do it tonight."
Yeah, it's you'll have less downtime over the weekend if we
Yeah.
just knock it out right now.
And I'm like, going, "But I don't want to fucking play on Saturday night."
yeah, I know. I was the same way. I was like,
"Damn it!"
I looked down there and I'm like, wait a minute. I thought it was between 1 and 3, and they're like, oh, sorry, that was Eastern Standard Time. It's
Pacific time.
it's
they do
11 to
11.
1 for you
Yeah.
mountain people. I'm like, ah, shit.
It's like
I
10
got
it's
on-
worse for the English players because it's like right in the middle of the freaking day on the weekend. It's
Yeah.
like 10 to 1 or something like that. And
I got on like 2 minutes before the server went down. I was all, excited, getting on. Finally just started flying, and then boom. I was like, what?
yeah.
What?
So they haven't done regional servers then? It's just all
have
US or
proxies.
nothing?
They have proxies for EU
Huh.
that they do like these relay proxies for it. Apparently it works okay.
Alrighty.
Wow.
So I'm sure, Steve, you'll give us an update,
Yep.
in July or
Yeah,
August
something
when
like
you
that.
start
They
playing
must
it
do the
again?
same
Or...
thing for Australia as well.
Yeah, I don't really know how that works in Australia.
No. Star Trek Online leads to violence.
Yeah.
They
I'm
can't
sure
play it in
I'm
Australia.
sure it's banned in Australia. Everything else is.
Yeah, with that.
We're banning porn that has women with small breasts.
Yeah, what's up with that?
They're
I
insane.
got nothing against that. They should go with the.
Really, it just helps knock out the undesirable porn. and
Exactly.
gets you what you're
Get
looking
right to the
for.
big girls. Yeah.
It's just a huge filter.
Big,
Yes.
busty, and yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what Australia's smoking.
They're insane.
It's
This
not
is-
the smoking; it's all the dust.
This is what
Like,
happens
too many
when you
dust storms.
get a colony that doesn't have a Bill of Rights. This is what happens.
Well,
It
doesn't
came
it-
from prisoners, It's
Doesn't help that Sydney's in the middle of Arrakis. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
apparently
So-
they've been mining much too much spice.
Yeah. So, any other pontification you have? I know you're not playing Jumpgate Evolution or Huxley. So,
I'm starting to move away from doing PC gaming in general.
and what
so-
are you doing now?
Well, I'm moving towards just more console concentration.
Oh, so you're finally gonna break out and play Fable again?
Man, I must have so much money in Fable by now. I totally forgot I had that game.
You gotta just pop
Fable
it in.
2, I got to be like Warren Buffett at this point.
You gotta just pop it in.
I know, just to see how much money I have.
Yeah.
It rolls over, it overflows the 32-bit integer.
And it goes back down to zero.
Yeah, I've made so much money, I'm poor.
It's exponential. I think I'm going the opposite direction. I was doing a lot of consoling for a long time, and now I've just find myself on my PC all the time.
I found my Atari 2600. So I've
It's a
got
different kind of going
You
backwards.
still have the 26? Oh man,
Yes.
I gave mine away when I got the 78 because of the pause button. I was like, oh sweet, yes.
So have you heard of this thing called an emulator?
Well, I got the system
Hello,
for
nostalgia,
free.
the feel.
Okay, I got this. I got
Hard
this
ass
system.
joystick.
I originally got the system for free from a friend, so I'm not giving it up right now. Plus, wood paneling on a system is pretty cool.
Dude, when
You
I
can
still
put up a
laugh.
wood desktop background on your PC.
I still laugh when I came across some of my old Atari boxes, and I was like, "We paid $60 for one of these carts? Oh my god!"
Yeah,
what
you
were
know
we
how much that is.
thinking?"
You know how much that is in 2010 money? It's
Oh,
like
it's like 3
$25 million, man.
Oh, I'm going the opposite direction.
It's like, yeah, try and find the Chuck Wagon game now.
Oh, did you see that auction that the lady put up her NES with
Yeah,
5 games, and one
And
of
it
them
went
was
up
the
for like
running game?
Yeah,
It was
it's
the,
Stadium Events.
Yeah, it was before they changed the pad to the new Nintendo name that came
Yeah, and
afterwards.
it went
Oh
for
my-
like $13,000.
This lady throws up her Nintendo and
That's
5
aw-
games, didn't even know what it was worth. 13 grand.
Yeah.
Oof.
Oh,
She
it's
got
13
lucky
grand for
Because
the
of the
somebody-
one
game.
game on there.
She got lucky. Somebody found the auction and told somebody else.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's just those few.
Those
It's
folks
probably
that-
like a handful of people that have these oddball titles set on their eBay to just set something off as soon as one pops
Yeah, it's
up.
like
and-
there's like a NES gold tournament cartridge that goes for
Yeah.
like $20,000, some insane amount.
Well, same thing happened with Neo Geo with so starts with a K.
Kazuna Encounters.
Kazuna Encounter, when they released it in Europe, and then Japan decided to kill it, and they were selling so many copies in Japan, and they knew they weren't going to sell that many over in Europe, so they pulled them back to relabel them. So they only sold maybe 3 or 4 copies of this game over there that were originally designated as the European copy, and now they're worth god awful amounts of money. In fact, the last one sold for over 12 grand because you just can't buy that
This
copy.
is the MVS version?
No, it was the home port.
Oh, the AES.
Yeah, it was 4 copies before they literally just were starting to put them on the shelves. They said, no, pull them back. And so, those few people that were there for like that hour, it was on the wall that had the $400 or $500 to buy
That
the
one
card.
Babbage's in England.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a pretty funny thing in the PAX DVDs about Will Wheaton talking about selling his 2600. And it was later on when the 2600 it wasn't as popular anymore. And he's like, I sold my 2600. Everybody's like, oh no. He's like, I know. He's like, don't you think I have suffered enough? And he's like, I sold the 2800. And he's like, and then I sold my Black Lotus set. And everybody's like, no. He's like, I know. And then he's like, and
Mr.
my
Bad timing.
and my mock set. No, I know. Okay.
Dude, he could have been a millionaire by now.
I know. I mean, he could have
Good
made
grief.
rolling in the dough. It's like there was a girl, and I wanted to get okay.
The money was probably worth more to him at the time than the money would be worth to him now, or the Lotus set.
These are magic cards we're talking about, by the way, for those of you who
Yeah, he's not
aren't,
selling his car. Set
yeah.
of Lotuses.
Yeah, the new GM Mox, he's selling that. What did those do, by the way?
I don't remember what the boxes is. The Lotus. I don't even remember what the Lotuses did.
The
Anymore.
Lotus was tapped to sacrifice for 3 mana of any color, and each of the Moxes were a 0-cost artifact that you could tap for a mana of the appropriate color. Let you get around the 1 land per turn limitations.
Ah,
Yeah,
I can
totally
see why
sped
that
up
would
your
be
mana
useful.
curve.
Weren't the Lotuses only beta cards anyway?
Nope,
They
they
make
were
it
also
the
an
first edition.
unlimited.
I'm sure they are banned from tournament play.
Oh, a long time ago.
But there's still there's the limited tournaments that you can do, which you can only have one of them in your deck. But that's also the only tournament format that lets you have cards from all the sets until the beginning of time.
The mainstream ones, I think it's 3 editions back or something.
The latest main
3.
expansion and the latest main set
Yeah.
and the last 2 expansions.
What are they
How
out
many
now?
cards have they put out for that game?
40 billion.
Well, what revision are they on now? Like 5
I
or
saw
6?
some Magic cards a little while ago, and they are totally different looking these
Oh, yeah.
days. And
It's
there's
not
all
just the
sorts of new
physical
rules
cards
and
too, but I
stuff.
had a
Yeah.
buddy that sold all of his physical cards. He got online and started collecting
Was
them
that Trav?
online. Yeah, and then he started selling his online sets and making money. And I was just like, God, this guy just makes fucking gold out of water. You know, there's even just for online, there's a a huge demand. So
Well, and have any of you played the 360 Magic game they came out with?
I played it at your house when you got it.
As really? I don't
Wasn't
think so.
that the
I think
one
that was
where you
somebody
had
else's house.
The battle.
No, I think you
No.
you
No,
brought it
this
over
is
at
the new
my
one.
house, and
No, that
you
was
should-
different. That was the original Xbox Battlegrounds game,
Oh, okay, that's
which
what
I
was
still
thinking
think is
of.
a great game. But they
Well,
came
you
out
would
with
be the only one.
they came out with a 360 version of Magic, which really is the card game. Absolutely everything. It's a perfect implementation of it. Doesn't compromise any of the rules. The only weird thing about it is you can't build your own deck, really. You
That's
kind of can
kinda
customize within like
counterintuitive.
certain guidelines, which is a little weird. But perfect implementation of Magic and on the 360. It was on sale
Seems-
a while back. Surprised y'all missed it.
Well,
Well.
I would have to have interest in Magic: The Gathering,
I
and
still-
I've never played the game before, so I only know a vague amount of.
It
the
was just a
rules.
more complex version of
poker.
not Pokemon. What was the one we played?
I wouldn't say that because Magic is more of a meta game. I mean, it's got a set of rules, but each deck sort of builds its own game that plays against this other game over there. It's so much more flexible than any of the other CCGs have been, and that's why it continues to be relevant because the game keeps changing fundamentally
Keeps
every time
evolving
new
to
cards come out.
stay new.
I last time I played Magic, Ice Age was new. So
Was that when you were working at
Maybe.
Electronics? Yeah.
Yep. And we
Ah.
were selling Fallen Empire booster packs for like 5 cents.
I still remember emptying out my piggy bank for all the quarters and bringing them into the gaming store. I was a poor kid.
That's pretty sad. Do you still have these cards?
Most of them, yeah.
I used to have an extensive collection of Fallen Empires because they were like 5. Fortunately, Fallen Empires was not a very good expansion set, so
No.
had Goblin
Kinda
Grenades,
blue.
and that's about that. That's about it.
So, what do you plan on doing with your complete alpha set of Magic cards there?
It's a mixed alpha beta, actually.
Ah.
I probably should sell it, though.
Do you have any of the Moxes
Probably.
or?
It's a complete set, so yes. I've got my alpha beta set, my Fallen Empire set. Really ought to sell those because they're probably worth some money.
Yeah, they're only going to be They're going to be worth less as time goes on, as people slowly fail to care. So
Or move online.
Yeah, you can pay for all that work that was done in your kitchen.
That would be stretching it, I think.
Yeah.
I might need another couple zeros.
Or a Black Lotus set.
Well, he said he has at least one.
Yeah, I got a Lotus and a Mox set because I got my alpha beta set.
Yeah, you could sell that for however much it is.
Don't know. That would require research.
yeah,
And on that note,
Well, that would be it for Diehard Gamer Radio. Join us again next time.
when we hear Nurse Piggy say,
Well, we'll hear Howard Lincoln and Nestor say.
"Can I get out of this cardboard box now?"
Thank you for listening to Diehard Gamer Radio. You can visit our website at diehardgamerradio.com and iTunes, or you can email us at diehardgamerradio@gmail.com.